Hey everyone, welcome to episode 13 of my series on expanding the Moog Sound Studio into Eurorack. Today we're going to look at a really simple and essential utility, an attenuverter. This is the Befaco Dual Attenuverter. It has attenuation and offset, and you can do it on 2 different voltages. This is another DIY build. Again, this one is super easy to do. I got the kit from Thonk. I'll put the link in the description. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through what offset and attenuation is, and we'll demonstrate how to use it with the Moog Sound Studio. Illustrate this, I'm gonna use a patch from my DFAM patch book, Shadow Current. I've already got it all patched up, and so we'll hook this little module up into our rack and see how we can change the sound and some fun ways to play with it. If you want to support my channel, I give away modules just like this one. In fact, I'm going to be giving away this particular module on my Patreon page, so I would really appreciate it if you signed up down there. I also have patch books and diagrams for patches, just like the one I'm going to use today, up on my Patreon page. So if you're interested in all that stuff or just want to support me, please check out the link below and sign up. Either way, make sure that you like and subscribe to this video so that way you get notified of the next video that comes out. All right, with all that said and out of the way, let's throw this into the rack and see what kind of fun stuff we can do. Before we get into the music, let's just go quickly through what attenuation and offset is. So to illustrate this, let's use the QBSynth module that we went through in the last video. I'm going to take a triangle LFO and we'll plug it into our Mordax data. Now this is what it looks like. It's pretty simple. And right now let's go ahead and plug it into our attenuverter, and we'll send that one into the second channel of the data. And if I set the attenuation all the way up and the offset at 0, then what's essentially happening, it's hard to see, but the blue and the green line are right on top of each other. So right now we're getting the same exact signal as if we were to just patch the LFO in. The attenuverter isn't doing anything. But with the offset, what we can do is turn it up or down. Let's go up a little bit. And now you'll notice that the LFO is going at the same exact rate. It has the same exact shape. It's just up a little bit more. So this can be essential if you want to make sure that all your voltage is positive, for example. Right now, the LFO, or maybe if we turn it up just a little bit, right now the LFO is only giving off positive voltage. Our quantizer, for instance, can only accept positive voltage. So this would be a great way to, if you have an LFO like this, you could send it through the quantizer and you could offset it first. You could also set it to go lower. If we set it down here, notice that the LFO has the same exact shape. It just has a lower voltage. Now the attenuator, if we lower it here, you'll notice that the LFO has the same rate. The peaks are at the same point. The valleys are at the same point, but it's not as dramatic. And of course, you could offset that as well. Now the difference between an attenuator and an attenuverter is that you can actually flip the signal upside down. So if we turn the attenuverter up like this, and I'll set the offset to 0, notice that the LFOs are now mirror images of each other. So an attenuator, when you set it to 0, it will be a flat line. And when you set it to fully clockwise, you'll get the full range of the LFO. With an attenuverter, setting it at 0 will give you a flat line, or pretty close to it. Turning it clockwise will give you the same shape or the same direction as your regular LFO. And turning it counterclockwise will invert it, it'll flip it over. Now, just to be clear, maths actually can do a lot of this. As we said in many of the maths videos, it's kind of like the jack of all trades of all these types of utilities. So you can offset and attenuate using maths. But I think having a dedicated module just makes it more approachable And also then you can use maths for other things. So really having both is kind of cool. Now let's go over to the Sound Studio. I'll play you that DFAM patch I have set up. It's from my patch book. And we'll hook some things up through the Attenuverter and see what kind of fun things we can do. So here's my patch shadow current. This is what it sounds like without any sort of external modulation. Cool, so that sounds pretty cool, but let's add in some fun stuff. So let's take some a modulation source and go ahead and plug it into the VCA decay and see what that sounds like. Now that sounds pretty cool. It sounds really great when it comes out, but then it also sounds cool when it steps back and you get those little punches. But that's just too dramatic for my taste, and I want to be able to have some control over that. So what I'm going to do is plug it into this attenuverter. We'll go to number 1 and we'll come out and we'll send it into the VCA decay. Now let's play around with the knobs and see what we can come up with. So right there, when this is set to 0, having this knob here is pretty much just like turning the VCA decay knob. Watch. So that doesn't give us too much utility, but when we bring in this LFO, we can still control it through this. Let's do that idea I was talking about before, where we send some stuff, an LFO through a quantizer. Let's put it in through here, and then we'll come out of the quantizer. And right here I have the pitch going into VCO 1CV. Let's take that out and go ahead and plug this one in and see how that changes up things. Now we're going to want to offset it a little bit so that way it's going into positive territory for this quantizer. Endless fun. That's really fun. But let's go ahead and hook it up to something else. There's so much fun to be had with this kind of stuff. So I'm going to let's plug it into the VCO decay. Awesome stuff. So as you can see, there's all kinds of fun stuff you can do, and the Attenuverter just gives you a little bit more control, a little bit more fun that you can have while you're playing. It's just an essential utility. I could spend hours here just coming up with different ways to use it. So there you have it. That's the Befaco Attenuverter. I hope you liked this video. I hope it got your creative juices flowing. I should note that I have another video out that I did a long time ago with attenuation and the DFAM that I'll put a link up there and you can check that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.